If you want to learn anything faster, it's not about talent, not about IQ, it's about having the right strategy. Most people waste hours learning the wrong way. They read, reread, highlight, and still forget everything by next week. But the top 1%? They use a different system. And in this video, I'm breaking it down, step by step. This is the method your brain's been waiting for. Before you dive into learning anything, there's an important step that the top 1% do and others neglect, which makes a notable difference. You need to stop and ask yourself, why am I even learning this? This might sound hilarious, but the story and scientific facts I'm about to share will change your mind. I had a friend who spent hours, days even, watching coding tutorials. He was grinding hard. But when I asked him, "What are you actually trying to do with all this?" he paused. He had no clear answer. And that's the problem. Your brain doesn't retain information just because it's interesting or might be useful someday. It needs a reason, something concrete to chase. Your brain is a survival tool, not just a sponge. It locks into what's meaningful and ignores what feels irrelevant. Without purpose, there's no retention. But when your brain knows why you're learning, it filters distractions and builds connections faster. Give it a mission, or get lost in the fog. So ask yourself, what do I want to do with this knowledge? Maybe it's to pass that brutal exam. Maybe it's to build your first app. Or maybe you just want to prove to yourself that you can master something hard. Then get even more specific. What does success look like? Is it being able to explain the concept clearly without notes? Is it landing a job or solving a real-world problem? The clearer the goal, the sharper your brain focuses. Once you've defined your goal, don't try to learn the whole thing in one go. Break the skill into smaller parts, but with a smart shortcut. This is critical. Why? Because trying to absorb everything at once overwhelms your brain and kills momentum. You need to deconstruct the skill. Here's what you need to do. Let's say you're learning video editing. Don't just learn editing. Break it into core pieces: software basic, cutting techniques, storytelling, transitions, sound design. And here's the smart shortcut. Use the Pareto principle. Focus on the 20% of actions that bring 80% of the results. Identify those critical chunks, master them first, and layer on the rest later. You wouldn't build a house by throwing bricks randomly. You start with a blueprint, then work on one wall at a time. Same thing here. Break it down so you can build it up. Now that you've got manageable chunks, don't just passively consume. Watching videos and reading articles might feel productive, but it doesn't make the knowledge stick. It's like pouring water into a bucket with holes. It just leaks out. You need to engage actively with the material. But how? For years, my go-to method after learning something new was to explain it out loud to myself. Yes, I'd literally hit record and try to teach it like I was talking to someone else. Whenever I hit a wall, couldn't explain a part, stumbled on words, I knew I didn't understand it well enough. That's when I'd go back to my mind map, a one-page visual layout of all the main ideas. No fluff, just key points and how they connect. That map was my feedback loop. And if you're wondering how to make mind maps that actually help you learn, not just look pretty, I've got a full breakdown in my video, How to Make Mind Maps That Actually Work. Check it out if you're ready to stop wasting time and start learning smarter. But mind maps alone won't save you. Once you've started explaining and mapping things out, you need to make that knowledge stick. And this is where most people fall into the biggest trap of all: cramming. Cramming feels efficient. You blast through material in one sitting and feel like you know it, but you don't. You're just stuffing short-term memory. Real retention? That comes from spaced repetition, revisiting what you've learned over gradually increasing intervals. Day 1, Day 3, Day 6, Day 12, Day 30. This mirrors how your brain naturally forgets and relearns. Every time you recall something, it doesn't just come back, it comes back stronger. You're reinforcing the neural pathways. But here's the key. Don't just reread. Retrieve. Test yourself. Pull the information out of your brain without looking. That mental effort? That's your brain saying, "This is important. Let's keep it." Retrieval is where real learning happens, not recognition, not rereading. And here's a powerful hack most people miss. Change your environment during your reviews. One session in your room, the next in a cafe, then maybe outside while walking. Why? Because your brain ties memories to context. What you see, hear, smell, even how you're sitting. When you study in the same spot every time, your brain becomes reliant on those environmental cues. But when you deliberately switch up your surroundings, you're doing more than just changing scenery. You're training your brain to adapt. You teach it to retrieve knowledge under pressure, in unfamiliar situations. That's how memories become flexible and reliable, not just in your study corner, but in the real world. So, whether you're in an exam hall, a job interview, or explaining something to your boss, you'll have access to what you've learned, no matter the environment. The formula is simple. Space your reviews, test your memory, change the setting. That's how you transform short-term cramming into long-term mastery. But here's the next layer most people overlook. Your brain doesn't store information in isolation. It stores meaning through connection. If you want what you learn to really stick, you need to link it to something you already understand. That could be a personal experience, a familiar story, a vivid image or analogy, even an emotion you've felt before. Let's say you're learning how blockchain works. You could struggle through the definitions, or you could relate it to a shared Google Doc that updates for everyone in real time. Suddenly, it's not abstract. It's relatable. Your brain grabs hold. The more connections you build, the stronger the memory becomes. It's like weaving new knowledge into a web of ideas you already understand, so it's locked in when you need it most. But knowing what to learn isn't enough. Now it's time to build the skill. This is where theory meets action, through the watch-do-teach cycle. First, watch. Take in the concept in action, through tutorials, examples, or real-world demos. But here's the trap. Watching feels like progress, but it's passive. It's comfortable, shallow. Next, do. Try it yourself, immediately. Messy, wrong, incomplete. It doesn't matter. That friction between what you thought you knew and what actually works, that's the spark. That's where real learning begins. Then, teach. We talked earlier about recording yourself, but now it's time to go deeper. Don't just record to explain. Record to refine. Set up your camera or voice memo and walk through the idea. What it is, why it matters, how it works. Give examples. Now watch it back. The pauses, the confusion, the skipped parts, that's feedback. That's where your understanding breaks. Go fix it, then teach it again. This time, cleaner, sharper. And here's the underrated hack. Teach it in different formats. Once, do a casual breakdown. Next, a 60-second summary. Then, draw it. Or create a mini slide deck. Each shift forces your brain to reorganize the info, digging deeper, spotting gaps, building mastery. Don't teach to perform. Teach to transform. That's how passive knowledge becomes real skill. Watch, doctor, teach, reformat, refine. That's the loop that separates fast learners from everyone else. But even the best strategy isn't static. Every time you use it, pay attention. Ask yourself, what clicked today? What didn't stick? What can I try differently next time? Maybe you remembered more after teaching than after rereading. Maybe one mind map lit up your thinking, while another left you confused. Whatever you discover, act on it. Adjust your inputs, update your tools, refine your system. That's how you stop learning by accident and start learning by design. And here's a powerful, underrated hack that most people never use. Talk to your future self. After each study session, take 30 seconds to open a voice memo and say, here's what I learned today. Here's how I'd explain it. And here's what confused me. Why? Because you're not just reinforcing memory. You're building a conversation with your future brain. When you revisit that audio days or weeks later, it's like time travel feedback. You hear how you thought, how you spoke, how you understood, and you immediately spot what stuck and what didn't. It's part reflection, part testing, part coaching, from the only person who truly knows where you struggle. You. Top learners aren't just consumers, they're self-optimizers. They don't just study harder, they study smarter, then smarter again. So here's the full system. One last time. Set a clear mission. Deconstruct the skill. Engage actively, not passively. Map it out. Use spaced repetition plus retrieval. Change your environment. Anchor new ideas to what you know. Watch, do, teach, record, reflect, refine, and iterate fast. This isn't just how you learn faster, this is how you become unstoppable.